I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Southbridge Town Council, Monday, May 20th, 2024, 7 p.m., McKinnon Council Chamber. Agenda item number 1, pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to agenda item number 2. Roll call.
Councilor Lazo.
Present.
Councilor Marchetti.
Present.
Councilor Adams.
Present.
Councilor Chenier.
Present.
Councilor Daniel.
Present.
Councilor Dow.
Present.
Councilor Montigny.
Present.
Excuse.
Councilor
Did you
Ortiz.
say Montigny or Ortiz?
I said Montigny, now
Oh, I'm
Councilor
sorry.
Ortiz.
I thought I heard Ortiz.
Thank you. And Councilor Rivas. Present. Thank you.
Ortiz is excused.
Thank you.
We have a quorum. Call the meeting to order, and we're going to go on to subcommittee reports. Department of Public Works, Councilor Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We don't have anything tonight, and I don't have one planned. I just want to let you know, Mr. Chair, and the rest of the council, that I'll have another ARPA meeting here very soon. We'll be bringing some of that money that has not been spent by our earmarks to organizations back into the fold to go ahead and get out before December 31st, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Education and Human Services, Councilor Rivas.
We had meetings on May 2nd and 7th on various budgets and recommendation on the budget for today, on today's agenda. And no future meeting scheduled just yet.
Thank you. Moving on to General Gov, Councilor Montigny.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a meeting on Wednesday, May 15th at 6 p.m. in the Veterans Room. We had a bylaw, a couple COLA changes, and some transfers, and we also have intentions of having another general government meeting before each of the last 2 June Town Council meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Planning and Development, Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we had a meeting last Thursday, May 16th at 6 p.m. Items number 40 through 48 on tonight's agenda were discussed, and there's no next meeting scheduled at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Moving on to Protections of Persons and Property.
Yes,
Councilor
Mr. Chairman, we had a meeting on Thursday, May 16th. All items, which are multiple items on the agenda tonight, have been approved unanimously by the subcommittee, and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 4. Consider and accept the minutes of Monday, May 6, 2024.
Second.
There's a motion by Chenier, seconded by Dow. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes of that meeting? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to Chairman's announcement. I have one pleasant detail. I'd like to congratulate the cheerleaders from Southbridge that won the Orlando Mother's Day weekend tournament. I want Southbridge to know we're very proud of you. Southbridge is going to be holding a parade from the old high school on Cole Ave on Saturday, June 1st at 4 p.m. The parade will go to the town common for a celebration. I would just like to thank Esteban Carrasco for taking a leadership role in organizing the parade. Thank you very much, and again, a pride moment for the town for winning it all. Good job, councils, on that one. I'd like to take a little special thank you to Councilor Adams. He was one of the councilors that was instrumental in working with the cheering, the schools, and all of the considered parties, and worked through it. Again, another fine job by Councilor Adams. We could hear a round of applause for him, please. That's it for Chairman's announcements. Moving on to Town Manager's announcements. Mr. Town Manager.
Okay, to the extensive meeting, I only have a couple of items. One, opt-out on the solid waste and recycling program continues till May 30th. The fourth quarter billing was due May 16th. Curbside monitors, we continue to do solid waste compliance, and special thanks to Maritza and the team and Cable Access. They are putting out public service announcements on social media regarding a number of items relative to the solid waste and recycling program. And 2 items The FY, again, I stated this in the public hearing, but in this meeting, the FY '25 water sewer rates, the town manager of the town of Southbridge will hold a public hearing on Monday, June 24th, 2024 at 5 p.m. in Town Council chambers. Hearing to be conducted on the proposed rate changes for water and sewer changes effective with bills issued July 1st, 2024. Those wishing to speak on this matter will be given the opportunity to do so. And second, Town Council, Southbridge Town Council will hold a public hearing on June 3rd, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Town Council chambers, 41 Elm Street, Southbridge, Mass., in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 157, to hear a dog complaint against Darius Bass, to obtain an order with respect to the control or disposition of dogs found to be uncontrollable by their owner or keeper. Anyone wishing to be heard on that should appear at that time and place. And that is all I have this evening, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Town Manager. Moving on to Citizens Forum. Agenda item number 7. Are there any citizens here tonight that would like to address the council on something that is not on the agenda? If there are any citizens that would like to approach, please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Good evening, council members. I'm Walter Wallach. I live at 375 Morris Street.
And I'm Cheryl Goulet, and I'm at 375 Morris Street also.
Thank you.
Okay. I live near the entrance of the old former Royal Oaks Golf Course. I would like to talk about the decreasing amount of quality of life my neighbor and I are experiencing on our street. We started a petition, and the main concern was the annoying noise generated by ATVs and dirt bikes. There have been instances where these vehicles come up Morris Street, 2 people on a vehicle, no helmet, and the dirt bikes are popping wheelies, sometimes the length of the street. We have no sidewalks on our street, so if we go for walks, it is on the sides of the roads, and these people don't slow down. They have no fear or respect for others. Mostly on weekends, there is an abundance of vehicles, pickup trucks with 2 to 3 dirt bikes, and others pulling double axle trailers with ATVs and dirt bikes piled upon each other. Other cars following them in. On May 5th, Sunday, we counted at least 50 vehicles going down into the back of the clubhouse. It started at 8:30 a.m., and the last vehicles left around 9:30 p.m. They were there for at least 12 hours. Where were they relieving themselves? There was a wetlands back there. The excessive noise produced by the ATVs and dirt bikes are so bad, most of our neighbors we talk to cannot even sit on their back deck or backyard and have a normal conversation. The constant revving of their engines is just too much to bear. There is wildlife inhabited back there. The noise is making the coyotes out of their natural habitat, along with the fox, deer, rabbit, turkeys, herons nesting in the dead trees in the middle of the swamp. Some of the coyotes I have on my camera are walking around in my front yard, and there is now down on Therese Ave a coyote that has mange. Hopefully there are no children that could be attacked by this animal. Senior citizens also walk a lot down there. Our quality of life is being jeopardized by the excessive noise. There is a group home on Morris Street. Now that warm weather is approaching, the clients are out walking with supervision. When the dirt bikes ride popping wheelies, they don't really have control of it. It's an accident just waiting to happen. The incidents are happening much more frequently. The noise, the clouds of dust make us close our windows on a beautiful day. It really affects our quality of life. Next weekend is Memorial Day. There may be a lot of calls to complain about the noise being produced. I hope no one gets hurt down there. Cheryl?
I just want to mention that the neighbors that we spoke to are really fed up, and it's just getting out of hand. And I started a petition, and I have about almost 30 signatures on my petition, and I'm not done. So I need to know where to bring my petitions and who to talk to, just so I can get everything going and making sure that my neighbors are safe. You know, we just can't keep doing this. It's going 3 years, and it's gotten worse this year than it has in the past. And I just feel that it's just not safe anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Town Manager?
Yeah, through you, thank you. Thank you for that information. You can certainly bring your petition out to my office. I have had conversations with the chief late last week about Morris Street, and we are setting up a meeting to discuss it. He has some approaches that he wants to undertake on this issue. It's been an ongoing issue for a number of years. So I do have a meeting scheduled with the chief in regards to that. I do monitor the police radio. I do know the police were up there. Police officers were walking back there yesterday afternoon and addressing several of the motorcycles. So we will be working on this. This is not a new complaint, but I do have a meeting scheduled with the chief to address this. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to address the council on any other issues not on the agenda tonight? If not, I thank you very much. We'll move on to presentations. We do not have any presentations at this time. We're moving on to agenda item number 9.
Chair.
Vote with.
I'm going to recuse myself.
Let it be known that Joseph Dow recused himself from this agenda item. Number 9, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Jonathan Dow as a permanent full-time police officer for the town of Southbridge, based on the police chief's recommendation, effective immediately upon successful completion of all medical, physical testing as required by the Human Resources Civil Service graduation from the Police Academy and state ethics in good standing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Shinya, seconded by Councilor Montigny.
Mr. Chair, this agenda item was unanimously approved at May 16th meeting by everyone present.
Thank you. Mr. Town Manager?
Thank you. Through you, I'll let the chief introduce his candidate, but again, we have a civil service process that we follow. We adhere to that process. It's a fine young man that I am proud to recommend as appointment of a police officer, and the chief can give all his background and resume. Thank you.
Chief?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Again, a budgeting an existing position that we talked about at the PPP meeting last week. As far as the process, the test was given in March of last year, 2023. The candidate who stands here before you tonight scored within the band of eligible candidates. As far as the candidate himself, born and raised in Southbridge, has a master's degree in criminal justice. During the background phase, he has an impeccable background. I would highly recommend him, and he's one of the first candidates that we have that understands the Arabic language, so that's a win-win for the community. I highly recommend him.
Thank you. Councilor Shinya?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. I'd just like to know, say that I've known Mr. Dow for a short time through his family, and I'd just like to say that I found this gentleman to be very polite and caring individual. It's a prime example of great work done by his mother. And I look forward for this gentleman to be a police officer in our community. Today we find it too easy to criticize the young people in our lives, and this is one fine example of a true gentleman and polite individual, and I'll support this wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Any other councils like to comment? If not, I just would like to say a quick statement on behalf of Jonathan Dow. It's always a pride moment when you see one of your Pop-Warner football players come up to the podium and say, I want to be a police officer. But this gentleman, and there are many Pop Warner players on our force that we coached, this gentleman was the top of the mountain when it came to discipline, desire, and the ability to accomplish the mission. Never, and I am not exactly an easy guy to be the coach, and he took all of it. Like a soldier, he worked right through it. He was proud of what he did. He's proud of his family. He's one of the most disciplined people that I've coached in the years that I've coached for 17 years. I really, really am proud of you to make it to this level and to sit here and happen to be part of a group to confirm it. It's outstanding. If you'd like to say anything, or would you like to vote first?
Probably vote first.
Yeah. I just want to know
Just
if
wanna
there are any
thank
questions by the
everyone.
councilors.
Just want to thank everyone for this opportunity, and can't wait to get started.
Any questions by any councilors? If none, roll call vote.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Shenyer?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Counselor Lazo?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Montigny?
Yes.
Counselor Ortiz? Counselor Rivas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Vote was unanimous. Congratulations, Jonathan. Moving on to agenda item number 10, vote to adopt the... All right, we're going to take a 5-minute recess, and we'll come back in 5 minutes. I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Southbridge Town Council meeting. As we move forward, we'll start out with agenda item number 10, vote to adopt the FY 2025 Southbridge General Fund operating budget per the attachment voting document in the amount of $59,059,063 to be funded as follows. Raise and appropriate $67,268,338. Transfer from other available funds. Sale of street books, $500. Cable operating account, $215,246. Debt service reserve, $1,195,000. Perpetual care interest, $2,000. Access road debt service, $369,415. Bay Path bond premium, $3,564. Sale of lots and graves, $5,000. Vote to transfer from other available funds, $1,790,725. Total general fund budget of $69,059,063. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilor Senior, seconded by Councilor Montigny. Discussion? Councilor Marquetti?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will say this, I mean, I do appreciate the effort that was put into this budget tonight. I'm not criticizing the work that was done. I'm just saying that, for me, this budget is a little too rich for my blood, as is about the highest I've ever seen it increase in a single year. 7.8% is how I see it. I have never seen a budget in the 5 years I've been on here. I've never seen a budget this high. And as a counselor once told me several years ago, the time to cut taxes is during the budget hearing. And so I see this, and when I ran for town council, I ran as a fiscal conservative. I haven't changed. I'm still a fiscal conservative, so I'll be voting no on this tonight. Thank you.
Any other discussion by any other councils? If no discussion, roll call.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Shenyer?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Lazo?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
No.
Counselor Montigny?
Yes.
Counselor Rivas?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimous, 7-1. Moving on to agenda item number 11, vote to appropriate the amount of $4,498,079 from the FY 2025 Sewer Enterprise Fund budget to be raised from sewer user charges and other department revenues.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Montigny. Discussion. Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So during the hearing, as I said, I was looking at last year's numbers compared to this year's numbers, and it looked to me like there was an increase. So that's an increase of about 3.5%. So that's a little confusing to me why the town manager said it is not an increase. I guess I'll support it tonight, but I would still like to sit down with the town manager to discuss exactly why this is not an increase, especially since the budget that was presented shows a decrease in their line item budget, so I don't understand the increase in the sewer enterprise fund budget. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Council
Thank
Dow.
you, Chair, through you. Again, Councilor McCarry, last year budget, you're looking at it, it wasn't properly done. Was unprofessional people. They have nothing to do with accounting. They took over and they did the budget and they have no experience whatsoever. And now you match the number last year and this year by professional people, accounting. They're trying to fix what the past is all messed up in different numbers. So I'm not sure what you're looking at. Thank you.
Any other discussion by any other councilors? Town manager?
Yeah, again, just to go to the sewer enterprise fund, we took a hard look at all the capital accounts within the sewer enterprise fund that were funded last year. Last year, in the revised budget, there was $100,000 in the reserve fund, and then approximately another almost $700,000 to $800,000 in capital accounts. We took a look at that, did not fund several of those system capital and plant capital accounts for this fiscal year, and moved some money conservatively to the reserve account. So I will gladly sit down with Councilor Marquetti and review these with him. We analyzed these budgets quite extensively, and again, we did have the enterprise indirect cost analysis completed, and we are confident in the numbers that I presented tonight of a decrease in sewer and a $11,000 increase in water. Thank you.
Any other discussion by councilors? Roll call, please.
Counselor Shenyer?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Lazo?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Montigny?
Yes.
Counselor Rivas?
Yes.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Unanimous vote, President. Moving on to 12, vote to appropriate the amount of $3,618,044 for the FY 2025 Water Enterprise Fund budget to be raised from water user charges and other department revenues.
So moved.
Motion by Dow,
Second.
seconded by Montigny. Discussion. Councilor Shenyer.
Mr. Chair, this is the water.
The water.
The water, okay, I'm sorry.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Lazo?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Montigny?
Yes.
Counselor Rivas?
Yes.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Shenyer?
Yes.
Unanimous vote, President. Moving on to 13, vote to appropriate the amount of $2,485,000, hold on a minute here, $3,618,000.
$2 million.
I'm on the wrong one here. Sorry about that. I feel like Joe Biden. $2,485,000.
You're not as skinny.
$2,485,399 for the FY 2025 solid waste and disposal enterprise fund between budget to be raised from solid waste curbside users, charges, and other departmental revenues.
So moved.
There's a motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Discussion. Go ahead, Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. So I know that we don't have the money to run this fund at this time because it's a new enterprise fund. So how are we funding this at this time? Is it coming out of the general fund?
So, if I may, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
For the remainder of this fiscal year, we're going to have to do a transfer from free cash for whatever we're going to need to balance out the solid waste charges. Going forward, we're allowed to set up the enterprise fund, you're billing in arrears because it's a whole year. So you're taking in the revenue, you have anticipated cost. So it's going forward. Everything from July 1 on will be set up just like the water and sewer, where it's by the fees that we collect.
So starting July 1st, it'll all come from the fees, no monies will be coming from the general fund whatsoever, correct?
Unless we run into a deficit, which we hopefully don't.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? No further discussion, roll call.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Lazo?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Montigny?
Yes.
Counselor Rivas?
Yes.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Shenyer?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Unanimous, all present. Moving on to agenda item number 14. Vote to approve revisions to the Schedule 1 for 2% increases effective July 1, 2024.
So moved.
Is a motion and a second. Mr. Town Manager?
Mr. Chairman, with the adoption of the budget, I would ask if you could have an amendment to add A9 town, the town clerk's position to the A9 on the schedule.
Make that motion.
There's an amendment by Councilor Shenyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
A second by Councilor Montigny. Discussion on the amendment of the town clerk's schedule. If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Vote on the main motion as amended. Any further discussion? Not all those.
Just want to say these two were recommended at General Government Subcommittee unanimously. Thank you.
Councilor Shenyer, did you have your hand?
No, I was pointing
No further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 15, vote to approve revisions to Schedule 5 to approve 2% increases effective July 1, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shenyer, seconded by Dow. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Anna Smith to the consultant for a 4 hours a week or as needed at a rate of $50 per hour to assist the town agent in solid waste and recycling regarding landfill post-closure processes, as well as the recycling dividends program applications and monitoring.
So moved.
Motion by Shenyer, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. First of all, I'd like to apologize for not making the meeting. I had some personal issues to deal with. I did have a question about this, a comment and a question. I personally don't think that Ms. Smith is really needed in that department. We have several new employees in there, I agree, but it seems like we have a consultant now in almost every department. We have one in the assessor's office, we have one in the treasurer's office, we have one in the town manager's office, now we have one in the inspections office. I did review the meeting. The town manager said this is to review the tie and bond reports. We did do away with the third-party review of tie and bond reports. I personally don't feel that tie and bond needs to be doing any reports. I think the landfill is really the responsibility of Casella, and so they're the ones that need to look at post-closure. If they want to pay for tie and bond, or anybody else to look at the reports up there, then that's fine. But to hire another consultant, I think Maritza can simply go online, go to the state's website. That's where you'll find a lot of videos and information on how to do that recycled dividend program, and I don't feel it's needed. And that's why our budgets keep going up and up and up, because we keep hiring more and more and more. Thank you.
Councilor Senior.
This was fully recommended by the subcommittee on Thursday night, and it was fully vented on the reasons for the need of having her come in for 4 hours a week or as needed. Again, this was unanimously approved by the subcommittee.
Unanimous by subcommittee. Any further discussion by any of the councilors? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Moving on to agenda item number 17, vote to reauthorize the leased properties revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 14, Section 53E and a half, to pay repairs, improvements, expenses, and utilities for all town-owned leased properties from lease payments to be deposited in the account, with all expenditures to be approved by the town manager and total expenditures from the account not to exceed $100,000 per year.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second? Town manager?
Mr. Chairman, the following items, 17 through at least 22, are reauthorizations of existing revolving funds. I know there'll be a question on the total, and I'll answer that at that time. I do apologize. I know the council asked for some reporting on what was in those existing revolving funds. I just simply have not been able to get my handle on that. I will provide that to the council as soon as possible, but this is reauthorization of those accounts that we want to take monies in and then be able to reuse. So they're just reauthorizations that we have, and they're all as part of our bylaws.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Number 18, vote to reauthorize the Southbridge Airport leased properties revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 35E and a half, to pay repairs, improvements, expenses, utilities for the leased properties at the Southbridge Municipal Airport from lease payments to be deposited in the account, with the expenditures to be approved by the town manager and the total expenditures from the account not to exceed $300,000 per year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Was this always 300,000? Seems a little high to me. I mean, I think that 100,000 would be good enough.
300,000, yeah.
It's always been 300?
They have all the airport hangars, the revolving revenue and all that. So.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 19. Vote to reauthorize the total maintenance revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 35E and a half, to pay for the replacement of lost and damaged toters from fees by homeowners and deposited in the account, with all expenditures to be approved by the Board of Health and the total expenditures not from the account not to exceed $15,000 per year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you. I know Council Marquetti has had some questions about this total maintenance revolving fund. I've had conversations with Dean and Michelle regarding this account. This was the account that was established under the former agreement with Casella, where we provided toters to residents. There is a change in that program right now. However, our recommendation is to reauthorize this revolving fund for this fiscal year, and then when we have our auditors come on and do the audit, provide guidance as to the closeout of this account and possible movement of any funds to the enterprise fund. So our recommendation is just to reauthorize it so that we then, because if we don't reauthorize it, those monies may close out to a different fund. We just want a mechanism to make sure we do it correctly through the audit process.
Any further discussion? Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the issue that I had was other enterprise funds cannot have revolving funds, and that was my question. Can a solid waste enterprise fund have a revolving fund?
Right, so this would not be used by the solid waste. This would be the existing total money that's there.
Okay,
We would then look toward the auditor to find the proper way to close it out
I got it.
and do what we can with the money.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Rivas.
What is the amount that's existing there now?
I don't know, I'd have to get that money to you.
Thank
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 20, vote to reauthorize the demolition of buildings revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenses associated with the demolition of buildings within the town of Southbridge, and any revenue captured to be deposited in the account, with all expenditures from the account not to exceed $185,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 21, vote to reauthorize the municipal hearing officer revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 35E and a half, to pay expenses associated with the administration and collection of fines in violation of MGL Chapter 148A and Chapter 115 of the Act of 2009. Such fines to be deposited in the account with all expenditures to be approved by the town manager, and the total expenditures from the account not to exceed $2,500.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 22. Vote to reauthorize the Southbridge Middle High School Store Revolving Fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenses associated with the school store from the receipts to be deposited into the account, with all expenditures to be approved by the school superintendent, and total expenditures from the account not to exceed $30,000.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion. Councilor Shinya.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the town manager. Why is this in the council? Why do we as council have to approve this? Is it because it's a revolving account?
Correct.
Okay.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 23, review and amend the Town of Southbridge Mass Code of Bylaws, Chapter 11, Departmental Revolving Funds, Section 11-500, authorized revolving funds, to adding the following.
So moved.
Second.
This is the third reading.
Oh, no, I'll read it. Thank you. 11-500.7, Commercial Loan Revolving Fund. 11-500.7.1, Fund Name. There shall be a separate fund called the Commercial Loan Revolving Fund, authorized for use by the Economic Development and Planning Department. 11-500.7.2, Revenues. The town accountant shall establish the Commercial Loan Revolving Fund as a separate account and credit to the fund all of the ARPA commercial loans charged and received by the department in connection with the ARPA Commercial Loan Program. 11-500.7.3, Purpose and Expenditures. During each fiscal year, the Economic Development and Planning Department may incur liabilities against and spend monies from the Commercial Loan Revolving Fund for expenses associated with ARPA Commercial Loan Program, office supplies, advertising, and any expenses related to the collection of funds. 11-500.7.4, Other Requirements/Reports, none. 11-500.7.5, Fiscal Years. The Commercial Loan Revolving Fund shall operate for fiscal years that begin on or after July 1st, 2023. This is the third reading, and I will so move that motion, Mr. Chairman.
There is a third reading. What was the recommendation from subcommittee?
It was unanimous. I believe it was favorable. It was unanimous, I think. Yeah.
I will declare it the third reading.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I have had some conversation with the town manager, And it was my plan to offer an amendment to this tonight. I'll just read what my amendment was, and I do agree with the town manager, maybe the amendment, we don't need it, but I'll read it anyway. My amendment would be, no commercial loans shall be expended from this ARPA commercial loan revolving fund without a signed contract between the owner and the contractor. The work has been completed, inspected by the building inspector. So that is what I had hoped to add to this tonight, and I'll let the town manager speak to it if he wants to. Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Wait a minute, there's an amendment on the floor. Is there a second for the amendment?
The main motion hasn't been seconded yet, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second the main motion.
Okay.
No, we're on the reading.
Stop. If I need a circus, I'll go to the clown. We're amending this now
Okay.
in the reading, because the reading is here. You have to amend it here.
No.
That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
No reason to be calling people names, though. Thank you.
thank you. Mr.
Keep
Chairman.
it up.
Thank you. The conversation, we do have a mechanism in place as to the application process, and we do, in conversations with Peg, Dean, and Michelle, we've talked about this loan program. We will look at that type of language in the policy itself when we give out loans. This mechanism of this commercial loan revolving fund is a mechanism just to take those funds in and account for them, and then have them available to be reissued. No reissue would then go out unless it was through the town council, town manager's recommendation. We do agree that there are some things that we should take a look at. The purpose of the program is to give some money to individuals to start up and revitalize, but I think we do have to take a look at maybe a percentage, that we give a percentage out, or we may not be able to, but we'll look within the laws of that and bring that forward. But this is just the mechanism for us to be able to collect the monies and have them available.
So are you favorable to this amendment, or do you want it?
I would say no.
I'll withdraw.
Thank you. All right, the third reading's been declared. Moving on to 20.
Mr. Chair.
Sorry. Go ahead, Councilor Cheney.
I do have a little bit of concern with the wording of ARPA commercial loans charged and received by the department in connection with the ARPA commercial loan program. Once that ARPA money has been expended and starts coming back, it's no longer ARPA money. So is it really should be saying ARPA commercial loan program, or should it be just a type of loan program that we're doing?
I believe this was the way this program was set up, so I'm not opposed to the opera, because it's just, that's how we funded the program. So I would leave it as it is right now, and if we have to revisit that name of the program later on, we could do that.
Okay. I'm good.
Any further discussion? If not, third reading is completed. Moving on to the vote on the 24th. Number 24, vote to authorize the commercial loan revolving fund under the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, to pay expenses associated with the ARPA commercial loans from receipts to be deposited into the account, with all expenditures to be approved by the Director of Economic Development, and total expenditures from the account not to exceed $100,000 per year.
So
Fair
moved.
motion? Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Mr. Town Manager.
I would ask that this be amended to be approved by the town managers to be consistent with the other revolving fund account.
So moved.
So the amendment is to delete the Director of Economic Development and put insert the Town Manager.
Correct.
That is what's on the floor, the discussion to the amendment.
So that councilor don't have no approval for that either?
No, the council still does, because I'd have to bring it to the council, but it's just any expenditures would have to be approved by me first, just like all the other
So
revolving
approved by the
funds.
town manager and forward.
We would not issue a loan to anybody without it coming to council.
Oh, thank you, just to clear up.
Any further discussion? If not, this is on the amendment. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Back to the main motion, 24 as amended. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed?
No, I'm voting. I just wanted to talk to the chair.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present.
Mr. Chair, I got a quick question for you. You know better than I do. I hate to go back to 23. Don't we vote on the bylaw itself? We read it, but we have to vote on it.
The third reading.
Yes.
We just voted on it.
No, we never voted
That
on
was a
it.
provision. You are correct.
No, we didn't.
You're correct.
Moving on, I'm going to revert back to 23. Is there a motion to accept it as written?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it was a motion by me, a second by Councilor Shenyer.
So moved.
You just didn't have to vote.
Motion by Montigny, seconded by Shenya. Any discussion on the vote?
I just have a clarification, if you don't mind. So nowhere in this agenda does it say we're voting on anything. I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying, review an amendment, it doesn't say we'll be voting on it. So, are we required to vote on this?
Yes.
Okay,
Third reading to be approved.
all right.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote, President. Moving on to 25, review and amend, excuse me, review and amendment to the Town of Council, the Town of Southbridge, Mass Code of Bylaws, Chapter 11, Departmental Revolving Funds, Section 11-500, authorize revolving funds by adding the following. Council Montague?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 11-500.8, Senior Center Revolving Fund. 11-500.8.1, Fund Name. There shall be a separate fund called the Senior Center Revolving Fund authorized for use by the Senior Center. 11-500.8.2, Revenues. The town accountant shall establish the Senior Center Revolving Fund as a separate account and credit to the fund all of the program fees, private sponsorship, donations, and participation fees charged and received by the Senior Center Department in connection with the operation of the Senior Center. 11-500.8.3, Purposes and expenditures. During each fiscal year, the Community/Senior Center Director may incur liabilities against and spend monies from the Senior Center Revolving Fund for payment to instructors, presenters, service providers, supplies for special programs, and repairs in connection with the operation of the Senior Center. 11-500.8.4, Other requirements/reports, none. 11-500.8.5, Fiscal years. The Senior Center Revolving Fund shall operate for fiscal years that begin on or after July 1st, 2024. This is the first reading, and it was recommended favorably at General Government Subcommittee.
Mr. Town Manager?
Just for those councilors that may have watched the meeting, I did take the recommendation out from Council of Aging to the Community and Senior Center. So I did make that change, as recommended.
Is there any other discussion at this time? I'll declare it the first reading. I urge all councilors, if anybody has an idea, to come forward to amend it on the third reading. It'd probably be easier. First reading. Moving on to agenda item number 26. Vote to adopt the town manager's 6-year capital improvement plan.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shenya, seconded by Montigny. Discussion. If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 27. Vote transfers from the town manager's car allowance, account 001123519700, in the amount of $2,150 to the following town manager accounts.
So moved.
Wait a minute, I got to read the rest too.
Okay.
001123571100, town managers conference meetings reimbursement, $750. Second one is 001123573000, town managers dues and subscriptions, $300. The third one, 001123534100, town managers advertising and promo, $1,000. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Senior, seconded by Dow. Discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was recommended at subcommittee. Unanimous.
It was recommended at Subcommittee General Government. Mr. Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I apologize for not making the meeting. I was actually at another meeting and lost a little track of time, I guess. I did have a question about this one. Town manager car allowance, that was a budgeted item because Town Manager McCall had it in his contract for a car allowance. He used his own car, so we gave him a car allowance. I think in the final year of his his contract, it was $7,000. But once McCall left employment here, then that contract was null and void. So the new town manager, we bought him a car, so I'm not sure why we still have that money sitting in an account. He gets his gasoline at the town pump. If he needs money, if he goes out of town, he gets reimbursed for his mileage. So I would think that this car allowance money would have gone back into the general fund and not used for other items.
Mr. Town Manager?
Thank you. The car allowance was budgeted in July, not knowing who the town manager would be, number one, so it was a budgeted item as an anticipation on a contract. The car allowance account, simply, I have that money in the existing line items within the town manager's budget. The option was either to go to council reserve and take the money to fund this, or use monies that were already budgeted within the town manager account. So it was easier to say, hey, look, I have money and I'm retaining money in council reserve for any emergency that may exist within the next 6 weeks. So it was just a funding area that we look at throughout the year. The reason for this, normally I would have had enough money in the conference account. However, with the changes in staff and all that, we had in the treasurer collector's office the ability for Michelle to attend the MMA. There was no money in her line item, so we took it out of the town manager's account, not realizing that there is a spring conference for the manager within the to go down to, which is an event to go as part of the development of a town manager. So this is why we took it from that account. The next year's budget, as you know, that line item is gone, and we have simply repair and maintenance vehicle. Thank you.
Any further discussion by any other councilors?
Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr.
Councilor
Chair.
Adams.
Trinidad State, $2,050. I used my abacus, but
No?
Correct.
You are correct. Thank you.
Typo,
Typo.
2050. Thank you, Councilor Adams. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Moving on to 28, vote a library transfer request for $6,000 from account 0016-10511-700 salaries part-time to account 0016-1052-1100 natural gas to fund the natural gas through the end of the year, FY 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Mr. Marquetti?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. So this is $6,000 for 1 month, because we're at the end of the fiscal year. Is that what I'm reading here? Through you to
We have the librarian coming up.
the town manager. Thank you.
I'll defer to Margaret on this. This would be bills that we received to a date, so I can't say there's only 1 month left. So we would anticipate whatever is left for the rest of this fiscal year. Again, any money that we would transfer, we're anticipating, we don't want to come back to council in June. Any additional monies that were transferred to the account that are not expended would then close out to the general fund.
Yeah, that's basically it. We were underfunded in FY24. The natural gas costs have just soared, and this was our way of meeting the commitments that we had with bills. It may be actually excessive, the $6,000, but I wanted to be sure, given the fact that we had already experienced an underfunding in the account, and I didn't want to have to come back a second time for the same account. So that was really it. It was housekeeping, and we also have to have everything, our requisitions done by the end of the month, so I wanted to just keep kosher with all of that.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I just want to reiterate, because I'm sure the questions will come up for every transfer here. The reason we have this number of transfers is there was a directive that was sent by the finance department to all departments to take a look at their accounts for the remainder of this fiscal year and to have any requests for transfers or requisitions into the system by May 31st, with the exception of any emergencies that we may occur. But these department heads have gone through their budgets and anticipated any possible shortfalls in their budgets and addressed it in a timely manner. Any monies that were transferred that are not spent within that line item would close out to the general fund and free cash at the end of the year. This is just a mechanism to reduce the number of transfers that we will occur on June 27th, or at the end of the fiscal year, and make sure that these department heads, all my department heads, had taken a look at their budgets.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? One opposed. Moving on to 29. Voter library transfer request for $52,000 from account 001610511700 salaries part-time to account 001610511000 salaries full-time to cover the costs of 2 employees that were inadvertently paid out of the wrong account.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinyan, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to ask a question about this. The $52,000 came from the wrong account. Are we transferring the money from the wrong account again to pay for this, or what account was this taken out of?
So the library has, I think, like probably other departments as well, we have 2 salary accounts. One is for full-time people and one is for part-time. And there was a misunderstanding in terms of what constitutes part-time. So there are 2 employees that are 30 hours a week, and they were inadvertently put into the part-time account, but they actually are considered full-time because they're more than 20 hours. So it's a housekeeping issue, which you probably remember many years ago, I think there was something like this happened again because we were given another directive in a different direction. So it's just housekeeping. It's just 2 salary accounts, money going from one to the other to correct what was an unavoidable mistake. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion by council?
Thank you,
Councilor Dow.
Chair, through you. Town manager, it's necessary to have the 2 accounts, or in the future we can look at them to combine to be 1 account for salary?
No, we typically have a full-time salary line item and a part-time.
You have
There's
to have,
nothing wrong with that.
you have to have both?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, all present. Moving on to 30, voter library transfer for $340 from account 001610350200 data processing to account 001610530000 specialized services to obtain a certificate of recycling and data destruction for various surplus computers.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 31, vote library transfers in a total of $400 from 001610571100 conferences and meetings, $290. Number 2, 001610573000 library dues subscriptions, $108. 001610571000 mileage, $2. To account 001610530000 program services.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. 32, vote in inspections department transfer request for $4,000 from account 001512530000 specialized services to account 001512-534200 print forms to cover printing expenses related to the new curbside billing and any other printing expenses needed through the end of FY 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion. If no, Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I understand the need because of the new curbside billing that has gone up. I was just wondering what are any other printing expenses through you to the town manager?
There's a possibility that we may need to get some additional Chapter 21D citation books. So if we purchase that, it just gives us some funds to be able to do that.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 33, vote a fire department transfer request for $1,200 from account 001-220-585600, safety equipment, to account 001-220-54800, motor vehicles, parts, and accessories, to cover the cost for repairs to electrical charging system and batteries for the Forest Fire 1 and Engine 3.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow.
Mr.
Discussion.
Chair, this was unanimously approved by the subcommittee.
Unanimous by PPP.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Marquetti.
Through you. I did review the meeting on this, and I heard the chief said that this was an unexpected transfer, but then he went on to say the battery charging system is at the end of life. So I was just wondering, how is that unexpected? Through you to the town manager. Thank you.
I will defer to the deputy chief if he has an answer for that.
All right.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, these were identified during our routine inspections. They were identified. There are panels that show the charging status of the vehicle, and neither of the vehicles were indicating that they were charging sufficiently. We did troubleshooting over the phone with the vendor and found both of those units to be not charging properly, so the recommendation is to replace those units. And the batteries in Forest Fire 1 are 5 years old, and the batteries in Engine 3 are from 2017. So if the chargers cook them off, we're replacing the batteries as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Through you. I was at that meeting, and the age of those battery actually, it need to be replaced before one day to really know they really need those vehicles, and then the battery is not working properly, then obviously those vehicles will be in trouble not to be in use. So they should be out of the games. The time for it between 4 and 5 years to be replaced. Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 34, vote a fire department transfer request for $2,800 from account 001-220-585600, safety equipment, to account 001-220-525100, repair, maintenance, and of equipment, to cover the cost of annual hydrostatic testing of the self-contained breathing apparatus bottles and testing certification for all self-contained breathing apparatus.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Councilor Shinya.
This was approved unanimously by the subcommittee.
Discussion? Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I recall we purchased new breathing equipment, so is this to test the new equipment, the old equipment? Through you to the town manager. Thank you.
Town manager.
Through the chair, we have not purchased new equipment. They are on an opera schedule as well as the capital account. We're waiting to go out to bid for those items. So this would be existing equipment. We have not purchased the new equipment as of yet.
All right.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 35, vote a police department transfer request for $29,000 from the account 001210511000, salaries and wages, to account 001210515000, holiday, to cover the additional costs for holiday coverages for the remainder of the FY fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Mr. Chair, Article 35 through 39 have been all unanimously approved by the subcommittee.
Thank you. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 36, vote a police department transfer request for $4,300 from account 001210511000, salary to account 001210524300, repair maintenance building and grounds to cover the repairs costs of the gate and employee entrance doors at the police headquarters and for the repair and certification of the fire extinguishers.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Subcommittee was unanimous. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 37, vote a police department transfer request for $7,000 from account 001210511000, salary to account 001210521000, electricity to cover all costs of electricity for the remainder of the fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. The recommendation was unanimous by subcommittee. Any discussion? Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So again, this is $7,000 for 1 month. That would be my first question. I know that it was budgeted at $36,000 for the year, which is about $3,000 a month. And I don't know, has electricity gone up that much that we need $7,000 for a
Town
1 month
manager.
period?
Thank you. So again, this does not just cover the last months. We don't have the bills in. This is to anticipate for the rest of the fiscal year. I think I've stated it numerous times. We have the issue with our net credits for electricity, where we have to balance out those accounts, where some accounts have credit balances. And until we can get that project completed, we're just trying to get through this fiscal year. There are some accounts that have a lot of credits and some that are in balance, so we're just paying the bills within the budget. And then once we get the project completed, we'll have that balance and going forward. Hopefully into next fiscal year, we'll have the credits established correctly throughout the accounts. But this is for us to close out this year.
And that was part of my second question, but I guess it's not for tonight. What exactly is zero net electricity? But it's for another discussion, I guess.
No, real quickly, we have solar. We have solar that gives us credits for electricity. And then we have a Schedule Z that allocates it over numerous accounts. And there's balances within that. I think going back several years ago, Karen and Heather used to manage that pretty closely. And at the end of the year, they would make transfers within it to make it balanced. We're just trying to wrap our heads around that whole project because it is quite complicated. It is even quite complicated when DPW tries to pay the bills, and that has caused a lot of frustration in the accounting department and with DPW to try to get this handle on it, because DPW handles all electrical accounts for all our town buildings. So this has been quite a challenge, but we will get our handle on it and have that balanced out.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Not, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 38, vote a police department transfer request for $6,463 from account 001210511000, salaries account 001210525300, repair maintenance of communications to cover the cost of repairs to the police and fire radio system for the state mandated IT upgrades.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Subcommittee was unanimous on recommending it. Discussion? Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So there are no warranties or insurances on these microwave, these are microwave dishes, I guess, is after reviewing the meeting?
Town manager?
If you were at the meeting, I'm sure Chief Norman can send you the picture. When Crown Castle is doing some upgrades to that tower, the chief asked them to inspect our radio equipment at the top, and our microwave dish, I guess it's called, has 2 holes in it. So we have to replace it. So it's not a warranty issue, it's damage to that. However, that damage occurred either by lightning or whatever, but they are damaged beyond repair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair.
Any further discussion?
Thank you, Chair.
Councilor
To
Dow.
you, the chief concern is don't meet the state requirement because that microwave have a hole and that was the big concern too. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 39, vote a police department transfer request for $500 from the account 0012-105-11000 salary to account 0012-1052-4400 copier leases and contracts to cover the cost of the pay-per copy agreement with the vendor for the remainder of the fiscal year.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Motion by Chin, seconded by Dow. Recommendation by subcommittee was unanimous. Discussion? No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Thank you very much, Chief. Moving on to 40. Vote the economic development planning transfer of $728.50 from account 0011-755711-000 planning conferences meetings to account 0011-75530000 specialized services to fund the cost of signs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Items 40 through 44 were all unanimously moved forward.
40 to 44. Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 41. Vote an economic development planning transfer of $216.38 from account 0011-80571100 economic development conferences meeting to account 0011-80530000 specialized services to fund the cost of signs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Subcommittee was unanimous on recommendation. Favorable? Discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 42, vote to apply for up to $2 million in MassWorks funding for the River Street / Crane Street Phase 2 construction to Pleasant Street and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. The recommendation of subcommittee was favorable. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 43, vote to use Chapter 90 funds to complete the 25% design for River / Crane Phase 2 and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. The subcommittee recommended unanimous in favor. Discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 44, vote to apply for up to $50,000 for brownfields funding for 30 Mill Street and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Recommendation of subcommittee was favorable. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 45, vote to apply for up to $50,000 in real estate technical assistance for a municipal surplus property deposition study, such as landfill and other town properties, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow.
Mr.
Discussion.
This item generated a lot of discussion at the subcommittee meeting. Eventually, it was approved to move forward 3-1.
It was opposed?
It was approved. 3-1.
Approved. 3-1 by subcommittee. Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I won't be supporting this tonight. This was brought before the Board of Health. Board of Health had a lot of discussion on it. They thought it was just too risky to put any solar panels up on the landfill. Might cause problems with the cover. Casella is responsible for closure, post-closure, and so they were not very enthusiastic about it. I think it would have, if they had had a vote that night, they would have voted it down. So then it was brought to P&D. The primary reason for this, I know that the agenda was changed, but the primary reason for this is to install solar panels at the landfill at a request by Northeast Energy LNG, which is a Charlton company. It's a company that pays taxes in Charlton. I don't know why we want to go out and find a study for them to put something on our landfill. So then it was discussion was to help with the blue building. Well, the blue building is owned by Casella. And then it was changed to help with gas to energy. Again, we have gas to energy up there. And then finally, the final agenda was to look at to study all town properties. We have done multiple studies on town properties in this town. I don't see why we have to have any further studies on our town properties. But basically, more importantly, is the landfill issue. Thank you.
Councilor Shin, you first.
Mr. Chair, at that subcommittee, I don't know how clear the town manager could have gotten and said that there was no solar panels going up on the landfill. It was a company that requested a possibility of doing that, and he explained that before anything could be done, such as putting solars on the landfill, it would come to the council. There was discussion about who controls the landfill, whether the Board of Health or the town, but the town manager assured us during the subcommittee meeting that there was no solar panels, wouldn't go up there until it would have to come to council. So during that further discussion of that meeting, the manager brought up some concerns such as the reason for the study was to take a look, like for the Globe Fire Station, surplus property that we might acquire through tax title on what would be the best course of action to go with those properties. So this agenda item is not to deal with solar panels, it's to deal what is the best use, and I asked that question, the best use of the properties that they want to review. Thank you.
Town manager.
Thank you, through you. So I think this is a good case to say how subcommittees can be important, right? There was an individual that expressed interest in a possible project that brought it to economic development, and our economic development and good due diligence was trying to assist in this as the party had gone through a DEP process and all that. Again, we would not do anything without it being fully vetted by Board of Health or whatever agency. It was just an idea, a concept. So then the conversation when we say it was changed, it's not a fair characterization because subcommittee gave a lot of feedback to it and said, what are some of the options? And as we talked about it, it was, this is technical assistance to us to say, these are surplus properties that we have, and why not take a look at the airport and say, not the airport, I'm sorry, the landfill, and what uses possibly could be done at that landfill, not just this year, but in future years. It's a big green open space after it's capped. What can we use it? Give us some assistance. Then the conversation led to, we know that we have issues. Yes, Casella has the blue building. We would want to strive to have economic growth and have somebody use that blue building, but they can't use it for manufacturing. Some manufacturers that have come up because of the lack of power to that building. So that's why when you say, hey, we might be able to get a solar array at the landfill that may be able to power the blue building that's owned by Casella, that we put a business into that building and create job economic growth. So that was the technical assistance on that. Then the conversation came, I think Councilor Marquetti, to his point, brought up about we get gas revenue from the methane that we sell off. And I brought up, and those that used to serve with Councilor Manor, she had brought up very aggressively at the start of our term to the town manager as a goal to explore that methane gas, and perhaps we could expand that sale, so perhaps we can have technical assistance for that. And then I surmise that we do have the Globe Fire Station that the school department is vacating. Why don't we have that thrown in there and give us some technical assistance about how we might be able to dispose of that? So this is just an exercise to get technical assistance to look at these properties and provide us best plan going forward so that we can generate revenue or dispose of properties in a thoughtful manner at no cost to the town, because this is a grant that doesn't cost us, and it's provided a service that we don't have the capacity to conduct on our own. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
John, Councilor Daniel, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Chair,
I didn't
through
quite
you.
got it.
I'm not necessarily for solar arrays. I made that decision a long time ago when I was up off of Dresser Hill looking out at the vista of Southbridge, looking from east to west, and I saw what they can and can't do, both physically in the moment with drainage issues and that sort of thing, and also the pristine conditions that exist here in Southbridge in a lot of areas. So I was really tainted about solar arrays, and I'd have to be really convinced to vote for one at this point anywhere in town. However, I am not against grants that serve specific purposes for the town to the betterment of the town. And I am not against technical assistance that helps us as a council and also our department heads to make decisions about what best to do in a particular situation. Given that we do have properties in town that are kind of sitting around at this point, and we're looking for options about what to do with them, and given the assurance that nothing is going to happen unless it's brought to the council to begin with, I have no problem with this agenda item, and I will be voting in support of it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'm having a very hard time with this one as a counselor, and I maybe shouldn't speak to the issue, but the example that was used was the fire station. You know, with all the debt that we have, liquidate it and put it into the capital improvement. I don't need a consultant or a study to tell me what to do with it, or what to do with any piece of real estate. And I too would not be in favor of I would have to yield to the Board of Health on the landfill. I'd be afraid to start drilling or building on that hill under any circumstances. This was a tough one. I know it's a grant, but studies are studies, and we had a lot of them on the shelf. Vote your conscience on this one, guys, because I got to tell you, this is tough. Any discussion?
Roll call, please.
Roll call.
Councilor Lazo,
No.
Councilor Marquetti,
No.
Councilor Montigny,
No.
Councilor Rivas,
No.
Councilor Adams.
Yes.
Councilor Chenier,
Yes.
Councilor Daniel,
Yes.
Councilor Dow.
Yes.
Oh.
Aye.
Councilor Montigny.
I voted no.
Thank
I'm
you.
just
Okay.
curious.
Okay, thank you.
What was the verdict?
4-4 doesn't pass.
Doesn't pass.
I was waiting for the
Yeah.
secretary to. Motion doesn't pass. Moving on to 46. Vote to enter into an agreement with Zen City / Civil Space for community engagement software using Economic Development Specialized Services Fund, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know I've asked this before, but could you explain to me again what Zen City is? Zen City Civil Space. I went on the town's website and I didn't see anything that said Zen City Civil Space. So if you could help me out here,
Zen.
I'm a senior citizen. I need a little clarification here.
Zen City Civil Space is the storyboard website that we use. If you go to, if you typed in Southbridge Civil Space, you'll come to a page that has probably at this point 7 projects on it. We use it for surveys, we use it for trying to keep the town abreast of whatever project is going on. For instance, we used it for the McCann Fields Capillo Park, we're using it for the rail trail, the FEMA project, the hazard mitigation plan used it, we're using it right now for the housing production plan. It helps us to be able to put documents into one place and project timelines, people can register on the website to be able to get updates when updates happen, and it's for as many users as they want, so as many staff who want to take advantage of it can. Right now, we have very few who do, and it's the most affordable of all the similar softwares out there. They've given us a sort of basement bargain deal because I've haggled very hard to keep it that way. We have had it for the last 2 years, but when you get to a 3rd year, if it tips over $10,000, the total tips over $10,000, you have to go out for 3 quotes. And so we're at that point where I had to go out for 3 quotes, and they've come in exceptionally cheaper.
So there's not an actual clicking of a civil space on the website, you have to put it in the search engine?
We have it embedded in the Economic Development and Planning Department. If you go to our page, we have something that says, oh, this new software, civil space, go ahead, it's a hyperlink, and you can click on it there.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a great communication tool to the public. It really is. If you take a look at it in the process, and I wish other staff members would utilize that with their processes, because it really is a good communication tool of the planning. And so if you take a look at it, it's very simple to use, and I've registered on it, and you get updates all the time, and you can do the surveys, and I get those too as well. It's just another communication tool for the town staff to get out to the public and to the town council. Thank you.
Councilor Daniels?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, items 46, 47, and 48 were all voted unanimously to move forward to council.
Any further discussion? Councilor Rivas?
Just a quick question on, I should probably know this, but I don't. Does it have like a translation tab?
One of the selling points of it was that it does have the to Spanish or any other language that we chose. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote present. Moving on to 47, vote to enter into a contract with Firefly to install paid EV charging station at the town hall at the cost to the town, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Subcommittee was favorable. Discussion. Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, just a quick question, because I wasn't there, didn't see it, but this means that there will be no more free charging?
Correct.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote pleasant. Moving on to 48. Vote to enter into an agreement with Charlton Fence to replace the front and side of the Main Street playground fence for $9,600 and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. The subcommittee was favorable on the recommendation. Any further discussion? Councilor Daniels and Councilor Montague.
Thank you. I have a question. There are bullets in the front of the playground, and there's talk of having a gate so people can drive in. Is it, unless I'm mistaken, I stand to be corrected, but it seems to me that if the bullets are in the way, you can't use the gate.
I don't believe somebody's going to be able to drive in. I think am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so that when kids are in the playground, it's
Yep.
locked, so kids can't just walk out. The gate will be able to be locked.
Okay, but maybe I'm even using the wrong term, but those concrete, I believe there are concrete protection devices, bullets.
That's what a vehicle can't go through.
Right, well, it's what I'm saying is if they're there and the gate's behind the bullets, how do you get by the bullets to get through the gate when you need to get in?
I would have to say the gate has to open in the opposite direction of the bollards.
I think it's a small playground, with no vehicle that can fit there,
Yeah.
if I'm not wrong.
There's no vehicle.
All right,
The one was burned a couple of years ago.
okay,
Councilor?
that's fine.
I think at the meeting, if I may, at the meeting it was mention that the DPW, Pete Paventia, suggested to them to put a gate that opens and closes so vehicles can go in.
Yeah.
If you go look up there, you'd have to actually go past those yellow safety markers and go in over the sidewalk into the facility itself. You'll see there is a big opening there, and I believe that's where he's talking to put that. They're only doing two sides, so.
Yeah, to clarify, the gate at the front is not for vehicular access, it's for pedestrians to enter the park. Currently, there is an opening on the side of the fence, I believe the west side, that like, when construction happens, vehicles will be able to pass through that part.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilman Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering how this is going to be paid for.
Yeah, so we previously asked for the reallocation of fiscal year 20 and fiscal year 21 CDBG grant funds to pay for this new playground to replace the one that was damaged there. We had remaining funds, and when talking to Pete Provencher from DPW about other uses for this money, it's specifically allocated for a park project at this point, so the easiest choice would be an additional improvement at this park. His suggestion was that the fence could be improved and that there could be a gate that could be closed, so it would be harder for children to run directly into the road.
So through you to the town manager, do you think that needs to be added to this agenda item where the funds are going to be coming from previous CDBG funds or however they would like to word it? There's nothing on here saying how it's going to be funded.
You can certainly, if you wish to amend it to that proper language, that's certainly up to the council.
All right, I will make a motion to amend this to reflect where the funds are going to come from. From what you're saying, it's going to be coming from previous 2021 CDBG and 2022, or
Both fiscal year 20 and fiscal year 21.
20 and 21?
Mhm.
Okay. So its amendment is to use remaining funds from FY20 CDBG funds and 2021 CDBG funds.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion on the amendment. No discussion?
So
Council Dow?
we're going to approve it regardless of the amendment, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the amendment? Opposed? Unanimous vote present. Moving on to the main motion as amended. All those in favor? Opposed? Moving on to 49, vote to enter into agreement. Monument Preservation and Restoration, PLLC, in the amount of $29,758.38 to clean and restore the monuments at the World War Monument Park, including World War I, Franco-American Monument, World War Monument, and 8 World War I ARPA and Heritage Grant Funds, which was previously approved by the Town Council, will be utilized to cover the costs of the contract and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Shinya. Discussion? Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple things. First of all,
Excuse me, for the record,
yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that Councilor Adams recused himself for this. But I also would like to offer an amendment. It was just a little bit of language was off. Where it says in 8 World War I, it should say Gold Star Monument after. So it should say including World War I, Franco-American Monument, World War Monument, and 8 World War I Gold Star Monument is the amendment.
So we're adding Gold Star Monument at the end of World War I.
Yep.
Motion by Dow, seconded by Dow. Motion by Montigny. Discussion on the amendment. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote present. Main motion as amended, is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 50, vote to enter into an agreement with Source Security in the amount of $15,303.50 to replace security equipment at the Southbridge Municipal Airport and allow the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
There's a motion by Senior, seconded by Dow. Discussion. Town manager, then we'll go to Council.
Yeah, the original motion should read 12,529.
Thank you.
And I'm requesting that it be amended to 15,303.50.
Because it was a typo, I thought.
No, it wasn't a typo. It was, well, yes, I inadvertently did not include the second part that the airport had asked for, which was a computer. So they're replacing the server, and their computer was an older model computer, so they figured they'd just do
So Joe Dow made a
everything.
motion to amend it, I thought it was a typo.
Yeah.
I put the right
Second.
number. Second by Montigny, to make it 15,303.50. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Amendment passes. Main motion as amended. Any discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 51, vote to amend the town council vote of agenda item 28 from project number 6473 to project number 64730 due to a typographical error.
So move.
Motion by Montigny, seconded by Dow. Discussion. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 52, Councilors Forum. Ladies before gentlemen. Councilor Rivas.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to mention a couple of different things. As we congratulate the cheerleaders, we also want to congratulate the Southbridge High School Band and Choir for earning silver and gold at the Great East Musical Festival last weekend, and really, lift up all of our different teams and groups in our school. I also want to remind everyone that on Thursday, May 23rd at 6 p.m., there will be a candidates forum here in the council chambers. So you'll get to hear from candidates who are running for town council as well as school committee. There are very competitive races this year, so be sure to tune in. That will be live streamed, but if you're around and available, please come and join in person. I also wanted to bring attention to Styles and Mac's Backyard Shenanigans are hosting a Lemons to Lemonade book event with their book author on Saturday, June 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Wellsworth Hotel. This event is for students and their families to come and meet the author. There'll be a lot of great information, and certainly the author will be signing some books. And lastly, I got a notice from someone about our resource page that needs to be updated on our website in regards to Mass Hire and their new address at 14 Mechanic Street, 3rd floor, towards the entrance to Optical Drive. So they are now in the Wellsworth Hotel building as opposed to across the street in the building now occupied by the Ewing's Service Family Resource Center. Thank you. That's it.
Council Dow.
Thank you, Chair, for you. Congratulate the cheerleaders as well. Thank you, Town Manager, Chair, Dave Adam, Mr. Villars, for making it happen. And I want to thank the counselor, the manager, and the chief for allowing my son to serve the town and the residents of Southbridge. And I can't be more proud for my son to be serving the community. Thank you.
Councilor Junior.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, to the town manager, the property on Main Street where the park is going, we're going to insure that property now, aren't we?
I believe, yes, I have to follow up on that because it's a separate entity outside of a adjoining building, so.
Just like, because I know that it wasn't insured when it was damaged.
Correct.
Also, last week I had the pleasure of going to Bay Path School with the Latino group from the Casabon Senior Center for Bay Path's luncheon. And I'd just like to say that it's an opportunity that everybody should take to go up there. The things that we hear about students today being out of control and those kind of things, or at this event in the cafeteria at the Bay Path for the luncheon, these kids acted very professional, and they're future people going out to work in the industry that they're learning their trade on. It was a first class all the way around. Some of even the waitresses that served there came to the Latino group and spoke to them in Spanish to be able to help them out on what was being served. And the food was outstanding. Again, I want to commend the Bay Path for the great job they did, and yes, the food was great.
Councilor Montague.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just like to congratulate the cheerleaders. Very happy that the council unanimously voted 9-0 to send them down there, and then they won. It's a great thing for the community, and that's it. Don't forget to attend Memorial Day Parade on Monday. Thank you.
Councilor Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just got a few things here. First of all, congratulations to the band and the choir. It was an amazing job by all had, and I sure wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. It was pretty amazing to see that on post today. Joe and your wife, congratulations on your son being appointed today and confirmed. So looking forward to seeing him do good things and being safe out there as well. The off-road vehicles, I didn't want to bring this up during the citizens forum, but they're also on North Woodstock, and I saw them yesterday come in right off that North Woodstock road, and there was a cop. When I drove back down there, probably 20 minutes later, just sitting right there waiting for them, either to come out that way or so. They were doing a good job, but unfortunately, the couple was right that came up here. No helmets, just loud, passing double lines. They didn't care about nobody's life at that point in time, and whoever's property that is should really be taking a look at that hard. Also, again, just want to congratulate the cheerleaders, but I got to tell you, we had a meeting, and I will say Dr. Villar and Seth were really good during this meeting that we had about ensuring the safety of the students and watching the planning process. And the coaches did a good job on the planning process because I got to see that plan, and it was really detailed and thorough, and the kids' safety was paramount. And Don Miko did a great job making sure, and we were on constantly communicating throughout the process. And the killer was, they get there at the airport after planning this in 48 hours, and their flight gets canceled in the morning. And so, we constant communication, and we made it happen. It was never we can't do this. It was always, how can we do this? So I was very proud of the school district, the counselors, especially, Councilor Montague, I believe you made the motion. Derek came up here and brought it to our attention, and the counselors voted for it in favor, and, good things. Last is we'll be placing flags at the cemeteries. On Friday, it's going to be Notre Dame and right on the on North Woodstock Road. We're planting flags there on the cemeteries, and then obviously and then Oak Ridge will be Saturday morning, and then we obviously have Memorial Day Parade, which will kick off at 10 o'clock right here in the front of the town hall. And then we'll ultimately end over at the Gold Star Mothers. And looking forward to, I think this is going to be a little bit larger group parading this weekend, on Monday, so look forward to it. Obviously, town councilors, school board members, please come join us in the parade. Love to have you guys. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Councilor Daniels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I want to remark for a second about the cheerleaders as well, offer them my congratulations. But I just want to state that how remarkable it is what they did. It's in and of itself, it's a remarkable achievement. But cheering is a three-season sport. We're used to the traditional one-season sports, and if you're involved in the playoffs, you go 2 or 3 or so weeks longer, and then it's done. You move on to the next sport. Cheering starts before school starts in the fall, and you have to maintain your grades, you have to cheer at sporting events as it is, and you have to take the time to rehearse your routines. And you'd think that after a while, the kids might get a little leery of it, a little tired of it, and obviously they didn't. They carried through for 3 full seasons. You know, you start in August, then it's May. Can't say enough about that, and just how remarkable their achievement is. So, all good thoughts and wishes to the cheerleaders, to the staff, to those that were involved right from the beginning, and those that helped out at the end to make the final push. It's a remarkable achievement, it's a great achievement, and I'm very pleased to say that it happens here in Southbridge. Why not Southbridge? Thank you.
Mr. Vice Chairman, Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things here. First of all, I was at a meeting last week for a Conservation Commission to speak about the issues up at that golf course off of Morris Street. I also live up in that area, and we have seen a lot more wildlife coming onto our yard, coming down the street. Some coyotes and fox that I've never seen before. So I don't know if they're coming from that area, but it sure seems it's getting a lot worse. A lot of people are riding up there on their motorcycles, and the residents were correct. They are popping their wheelies on Maria Avenue. It's just a really unsafe situation. My wife likes to go for a walk every day, and I'm really kind of concerned for her safety as well, especially with the wildlife and the motorcycles. So I'm glad to hear that the town manager has been involved in it. I know that the police chief had his officers up there this weekend, so I appreciate it. As far as these grants that we're always applying for, I do appreciate when Ms. Dean goes for these grants. A lot of people are having struggles right now paying for this curbside garbage collection, so if we could find a grant to help them to offset the costs of curbside, I would very much appreciate that as well. I'm also looking forward to any road improvements this year. A plan is in place. I'm sure that that's going to be coming pretty soon. A lot of residents have been asking about it, so when we can get that going, I'm looking forward to that. And last, to Councilor Rivas, I would just like to say that the town's website does have a translator button on there that you can click, and it'll translate the entire website into Spanish. So I wasn't aware of that one time. I was asking about it when we were doing curbside, and the IT director pointed that out to me. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item number 53, discussion of the next meeting day. Councilor Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next meeting is Monday, June 3rd, 2024, 7 p.m. in the council chambers.
Last one, 54, adjournment. Second. Motion. Motion by Dowell, seconded by Shinya. All those in favor? Opposed? Him as well present. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.